They've canceled and moved more sessions than they've met with us. They've backtracked on proposals. They've asked for decreases in 113 out of 138 workers' wages. And then they complain that we're asking for the same type of health care that every other union hotel in the city's getting. And they say that their wages and their benefits are comparable to union hotels, and that is not right. They don't have overtime. They don't have 6th and 7th day pay. A contract! No!
We asked for the support of organized labor and other organizations on this demonstration today. The employee committee called it in order to call public attention to the Radisson's continued bad faith bargaining.
We continued to go through negotiating meetings and this and that, and the lawyer kept putting us off. So now hopefully we'll get our contract with things going on today.
Yeah, what do you think of this support?
I think this is great, really great. I didn't think it would turn out like this because of the weather and everything, but it really has turned out really good. And we're happy, that everybody came out.
Jobs nowadays are hard to come by, and they're paying low wages, and it's a struggle for any human being. I was on the Normandy strike, and we fought to get our jobs back. They didn't want union in there, but we fought all the way to get it back. And I feel that I'm out here now. I feel that the Radisson should settle and get a contract in here. There's too much poverty going on.
Doesn't make sense for a guy that's painted as well he is as Kurt Carlson, to be doing this. It doesn't make sense at all. He's made his money and his wealth with working people, and he's kind of forgot about these, and he shouldn't do that.
After they tore the place down and built it again, he said it would be union, and then afterwards denied that he even said it. And you know that we had a lot of reputable people that were present at the time of the promise and the commitment. And instead of keeping that promise and commitment, he just denied making it.
You should probably know that the hotel I'm referring to, the Radisson Plaza, Minneapolis, is the Radisson's flagship hotel. This dispute's been going on for some time. In 1980, Radisson owner Kurt Carlson approached hotel and restaurant employees, Local 17, and officials of other labor organizations about his plans to seek tax increment financing in order to reconstruct the downtown Minneapolis Radisson Hotel. He personally assured both the Minneapolis Building Trades Council and Local 17 that the construction would be done by union contractors and that when the hotel reopened, it would continue to be a union shop. The Radisson specifically agreed that upon resuming operation at the downtown facility, the employer will offer recall to those employees previously laid off due to the reconstruction in accordance with the provisions of Article 9 of the current collective bargaining agreement. Employees accepting recall shall not lose seniority rights or benefits accrued as of the date of the layoff. The Radisson further agreed to recognize and bargain with the union as a representative of the employees at the new facility. Carlson received millions of dollars in tax increment financing and urban development action grants to finance the construction of the new hotel. When operations were scheduled to be resumed, the Radisson refused to honor the terms of the 1981 agreements, claiming that too much time had lapsed and that the Radisson was thus no longer bound by the agreement. Dozens of attempts by the union to resolve the dispute failed. In fact, at one meeting with Local 17 representatives, a Radisson spokesperson stated that the deal is off. Not only did the Radisson fail to recall former employees, they sent postcards to the laid-off workers inviting them to reapply. As of March 28, 1987, 28 of those employees who desired to return to the Radisson were not offered jobs.
This guy, when he goes out and hires a union buster like Archie Stokes, who we've dealt with over the years, he can take, when they can take $16 or $20 million of public money and then use it to break a union, that's a little bit unscrupulous. I didn't think anyone ever got that big. And I don't believe they're going to make it work. And just so he remembers that we were here, Kurt Carlson, I want him to know, and you want him to know, that if he doesn't send that snake oil salesman back to Atlanta, we'll be back. We'll be back. And we'll return and return and return until the guy's gone, until they honor their agreement. Thank you.
Our next speaker, please give her a warm welcome, Ann Stewart.
Carlson and the Radisson contend some workers don't want to return to work at the hotel. Well, no wonder. The hotel goes on a campaign to break the union, destroy seniority, and pay people below union scale, and then asks workers to come back. We need a union inside the hotel to enforce these conditions. Our union, Local 17, has given the hotel the names of 27 people who want to go back. They want union scale, they want seniority. We want a card check to determine union representation. As a hotel worker, I want to thank you for your support. It really makes me feel good to stand up here with all this union support, and I know that I can go back in there and work and feel good about this. Thanks again. On July 5th, 1988, the card check was conducted by the Minnesota Bureau of Mediation Services and a neutral arbitrator. They determined that a majority of Radisson Plaza employees had authorized HERE Local 17 and Teamsters Local 638 to represent them. The arbitrator issued an award ordering the Radisson to participate in collective bargaining negotiations for the purpose of reaching a contract. On July 29, 1988, negotiations between the Radisson and the union commenced. In April, September, and November 1989, the union filed charges with the National Labor Relations Board alleging that the company had bargained in bad faith and had restrained and interfered with the rights of the employees. The regional office found merit to those charges and issued an amended a consolidated complaint against the company in December 1989. In March 1990, a trial was held by an administrative law judge from the National Labor Relations Board concerning these unfair labor practices. The judge found the Radisson had indeed violated the law by bargaining in bad faith with the employees' representatives, by refusing to hire applicants of ethnic background because it was suspected they would be sympathetic to unions, and refusing to discuss employees' grievances, hours, and rates of pay, and by interfering with and restraining the rights of the employees under the National Labor Relations Act. The judge ordered the Radisson to recognize and bargain with the unions and to cease and desist from all illegal activity.
They told her, because she had one complaint, that she should go home, look in the mirror, and decide how she's going to treat guests.
Sir, nice to have you here. Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome. I hope that,
okay.
help. I know that you've been fighting for a long time, and I'm sure that eventually that you're going to get a decent contract here.
Sir,
so good luck to you.
Yes.
Thank you for your support of the labor movement, Alfonso.
We are going to do it all the way through, sir.
Okay, good. All right, you're welcome. Okay.
He becomes a U.S. citizen on Friday.
On Friday? Congratulations. Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
You.
It's great.
And
okay.
You're always welcome here.
Thank you. I'll be back. Okay.
Thanks,
all right. All right. These are employees that are on break?
Yes. Yeah. We'll be in the back of the house.
Interrupt any work in progress.
Right. Hey, Brahim. This is Bernard Brahmer. He's the head of the HCIO.
My name is Brahim.
Rahim,
Ali.
nice
How
to
you
meet
doing?
you.
Thank
It's
you.
a pleasure.
Thank
Okay.
you.
All right. What's your job here?
I am a cafeteria man.
Okay.
Cafeteria.
All right. Okay. Yeah. How long have you worked here?
4.5.
4.5 years.
4.5
Okay.
years,
All right.
yes.
Well, you've been here quite a while then.
We gave you a counter proposal this morning on discipline and discharge, which we would invite you to respond to now. And I'm hoping that you're in a position to do that.
I am in a position to do that, but before I do, we need an answer to a question, sir, and that is, do you continue to insist on wage cuts for any of the employees in this complement of employees?
I continue to take the position, Dan, that our wage proposal, comprehensive wage proposal, when all is said and done, will leave this hotel among the best paid hotels in the city. I can't guarantee you that no positions will ever take a cut or that the method of compensation for any position will not be frozen, nor can you.
As we read it, the company's position on health benefits remains shift the cost to the taxpayer, shift the cost to the employer of the employee's spouse, and establish an employee contribution that makes it prohibitive for employees to participate in a plan that has astronomical deductibles and copay.
We would love to hear you tell me right now whether or not, as a matter of political reality for this union, it can ever accept, ever, any health insurance program other than your own. Will you tell me, sir, whether or not you're willing to do that?
We are prepared to look at any proposal that you have to improve benefits. Until then, you have given us no reason to move off of our position that Radisson should be able to cover its employees in the same way that the Marquette Hotel 2 blocks down the street covers its employees, that the Hilton Hotel covers its employees, that the North Star Hotel and the Park Inn and the Regency Plaza and on and on and on and on and on. You say you cannot afford that coverage, and you insist that this hotel is unique.
I didn't say we couldn't afford coverage. I said your proposal was too expensive.
With
given the
respect
value
to this
that we get
hotel
for it.
being unique, we have to agree. This hotel is unique in that it has consistently violated the National Labor Relations Act, have been found to have done that by both the regional director, an administrative law judge, the full board in Washington, D.C., the 8th Circuit Court of Appeals, and here we are 7 years later, and you can't move off the dime on health benefits. I mean, I think it's a sad commentary on this company in this community to take the position that it cannot afford coverage for the employees that adequately addresses their basic medical needs.
Gordy, I'm Bernie Brummer. I'm president of the Minnesota AFL-CIO. And I just wanted to stop by and thank you for your support of the local and organized labor in this state. I know that you folks have been fighting for a long time. I understand you've worked here for a number of years.
Yes.
How long?
Since opening.
Since it opened?
Yeah.
And before.
Yeah, before 1970.
And I understand that there used to be 2 of you that did the work back here, and they laid off your partner?
Okay, thank you.
Gordy, why don't you tell them what you had to do to get medical benefits for your kids?
Oh, I had to go to the welfare department.
To the welfare department of Hennepin County?
Yeah, because I couldn't afford this. Because I couldn't afford the insurance.
How many children do you have?
3. What a deductible alone is what hurts.
Yeah, they've got, the employees have to pick up a substantial
$400
portion of their health care
and
costs.
Then it's $20.80 besides that, and I can't.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who gets $400 worth of, a year.
Yeah, most of the time you're picking up all of the costs, and it's the small costs, the incidentals. You know, you hope you don't have a serious illness or an accident where you have these huge medical bills, but that first dollar, you're picking up that. And,
There's a lot of people here that can't really afford to work here, but I think it's a great place to work if they could get what's coming to them. And when I started here, it was pretty good. It was okay. My husband worked here, and he left because he couldn't get any hours, couldn't get a raise, and our medical benefits weren't enough for us. You know, we didn't make enough money to pay for them, and so I'm kind of here for him a lot, and for a lot of other people.
You know, when you're talking about decent medical benefits for these employees, with a corporation like this, and that's had, and this hotel in particular has had a 93% occupancy rate, it's ridiculous that they're not providing medical benefits for their employees. There are some who have their kids on medical assistance. They themselves have no medical insurance. You know, they're just barely making it. They can't afford to pay their utility bills.
They don't recognize any seniority. Our wages could be better, our medical benefits definitely could be better. And we just like the respect that a union would get if we were in there.
I don't speak English very well.
It's okay.
But we have a lot of problems in the housekeeping department. 95% of the employees in this department is from another country, and a lot of people they don't speak English. So I think a lot of people they don't know the rights that they have, and I think it's a good reason for to have the union.
I said to someone, I says, if you don't like it that much, why don't you go somewhere else? She says, I don't speak no English, you know. She's from Ukraine, one of the stewarding. And she has sores all over her hands from, you know, they don't have any ventilation in the area she works, and she's always, you know, just stands there for 8 hours a day. And she's been doing it for 4 years, and she goes to the doctor, it's so expensive, you know. So
there's a lot of Tibetans working as room cleaners, also Vietnamese, and some individuals from Mexico, for instance. Their wages or their working conditions, like I said, the housekeepers especially, you know, because of the favoritism, you know, they don't have the vehicle to allow them to work 40 hours a week, and they need that.
For me, it's the reason why I started for the union committee is because a lot of employees were coming to me with their problems and everything. And I also was starting to have problems on the job. Okay. And so I thought, you know, it would help, just not me, but other employees, you know, to realize that they do have rights and everything, you know. Because a lot of them didn't know their rights, and they didn't know, you know, that we could have a union to help us out with our wages and with our medical, you know, increases and stuff like that. So that's why I really mainly joined it.
The workers are more resolved now than ever.
Good. Good.
The numbers on our committee and at our bargaining sessions keep growing all the time. We are not going away.
Kurt Carlson, shame on you. The court says you're guilty and we do too. Kurt Carlson, shame on you. The court says you're guilty and we do too. Kurt Carlson, shame on you. The court says you're guilty and we do too. No contract, no peace. No contract, no peace. No contract, no peace. No contract, no peace. No contract, we shall not be moved. We shall not be moved just like a tree that's planted by the water.
The union filed unfair labor practice charges against the Radisson in the fall of 1993, and in January 1994, the regional office, Region 18 of the National Labor Relations Board, recommended that contempt of court sanctions be initiated against the Radisson. And after investigating the case in Washington, D.C., the contempt litigation branch of the NLRB filed a petition on June 27th against the Radisson for continuing to violate the 1993 court order.
Each year, between 20 and 25,000 allegations of management unfair labor practices are filed with the National Labor Relations Board. Out of the 3,000 unfair labor practice allegations that are found to have merit by the National Labor Relations Board, less than 1% actually get to the stage that the Radisson is at. The deck is clearly stacked against the individual employees, and time is on the side of the company. Resources are clearly on the side of the company. They can just string it along in the courts, appeal to the next level, ignore NLRB orders with no penalties. Well, in the 1930s, employers fought unions and employees with guns and violence. Today, guns are unnecessary and violence is unnecessary. The weapon of choice is a lawyer.
Corporations like the Radisson and union-busting law firms like Stokes and Murphy have been somewhat successful in the past because they're able to pick off locals one at a time and use strategies like divide and conquer in the workplace. But we know, because we've asked other locals to help in the past, that coordinated efforts and strategies are successful. We need a national effort against chains and union-busting law firms so that they stop breaking the law and start respecting employees' rights.
We deserve it. They're the best. They say they're the best hotel. We want the best contract. And I don't know, I've worked for Radisson for 13 years now, between this Radisson and Radisson Plymouth. We deserve it. We deserve the best. We're doing the best. They're only the best because we're the best.
1, 2, 3, 4. Contract's what we're looking for. 4, 3, 2, 1. Just sit down and get it done. 1, 2, 3, 4. Contract's what we're looking for.